The Medibank hacker has released more details, confidential customer data on the dark web, and the criminals behind this attack say they will continue to release information this week. Millions of customers have been caught up and they could be entitled to compensation too. Let's bring in Trudy McIntosh now live. Trudy, take us through this breaking news. What have the criminals done now?
Laura, this is another strange twist in this Medibank saga. The hackers have again today released more sensitive medical information onto the dark web. Potentially 9 million or so customers have been caught up in this massive hack. And we've seen a rather strange approach from these criminals to continually drop out pieces of information in batches relating to people's medical information. Last week it was related to alcohol and drugs, unplanned pregnancies and HIV. And I can tell you this morning, the latest relates to mental health of certain policyholders. This was brought to us by the 9 newspapers. They've seen access to this information on the dark web. Will not show you any of the confidential data for very obvious reasons, but we can tell you it does relate today to mental health. And the criminal group behind this say they are not stopping here. They're linking it, though, to this Wednesday's annual general meeting, which is going to be held by Medibank on Wednesday. They want to see the outcome of that, they say, before they continue to post more of this information on the internet. This is the part of a blog post that the criminal has posted. They say there is some more records for everybody to know. We'll announce that next portion of data we'll publish at Friday, bypassing this week completely in a hope of something meaningful happening on Wednesday. So that's in reference, we believe, to the annual general meeting, which is scheduled. The reason for some of the poor grammar in that would in part be explained by what we heard by the Australian Federal Police Commissioner on Friday, that they believe that it is Russian criminals responsible for this massive breach, Laura.
Okay, so yeah, pretty weird, you must say. They're making demands, making threats, but also want to see what happens out of an orderly AGM. Yeah. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Trudy, as this continues to really play havoc with people's lives, there is a potential class action. How many people have signed up already?
Well, the 2 law firms that have teamed up on this won't put a figure on it, but they say they have been inundated by affected customers. This hack came to light over a month ago, and things, as we can see, are getting much worse for people who have had their data breached and now live under the fear that their data could actually be made public. As for the class action, it's yet to be filed in the courts, but it does seem like it's getting closer. The 2 legal firms putting out a statement overnight saying Medibank's failures have betrayed their members and exposed them to real harm. Many people are distressed and anxious and have every right to be angry. There's also a separate review underway by the different law firm Morris Blackburn, looking at whether customers should be entitled to compensation. Now, there's a debate in terms of policy here about whether ransom payments should be banned altogether. These criminals demanded 15 million Australian dollars from Medibank. They've refused to pay, and we've seen the sort of data that's now being posted. The government says it wants to ban this. The opposition largely supportive, but says there may need to be exceptions.
In some instances, and it may be very, very rare, there might be a need for some sort of payment, for instance, if it would save a life. So while we support never paying a ransom, there is always the very, very rare exception which has to be taken into consideration.
But paying ransom just gives permission for other people to go ahead and do this expecting big payments at the end, and it's just not on.
The government is also moving to strengthen the sort of financial penalties that companies will have to pay for these sort of serious breaches. It went through the House last week, Laura, that a company would now have to pay a maximum fine of up to $50 million, raised from just $2 million. It's yet to pass the Senate, but it will, because both sides of politics support this.
Yeah, OK, that seems like a logical step. We'll get some more reaction to that. Trudy, thank you.